The first author we'll be covering from Divine Dreamers is a woman that I am certain the extreme majority of people who follow me will guaranteed know who she is. And she is Amina Maria, and she hosts the Dream World podcast. So her chapter was cool, man. I didn't realize how much me and her have in common, but it starts off going like when she started to first have her lucid dreams, which, we really like line up perfectly right there, where she first had her lucid dreams around 8 years old from a long nightmare that she was having. Where for me, it was around the same age, but mine wasn't from one nightmare. Mine was from a recurring nightmare that I was having, where like the first time wasn't lucid, didn't know, didn't know I was dreaming. But then any time from that point on, when I would have that dream, the second it would start, I knew exactly what I was in for. I knew I was dreaming. But at that point, I wasn't able to influence, control, or change anything. So I just basically had to suffer through it from beginning to end every single time it happened, which super sucked. But nonetheless, nightmares are a pretty common way for people to get lucid. And so that really is a wonderful opportunity to be able to get in there, influence, and control things once you realize that that's something that you can do, right? Either fight off the monster or better yet, go hug that dream demon and make peace with it. This next sentence here is really cool because it highlights, my main light bulb moment that went off in my head when I started to take my lucid dreaming practice seriously. And so she writes, lucid dreaming is what she's talking about, is a skill that anyone can learn, achieve, and improve with practice. And it's almost like word for word with what I like to say, where I like to think about it that lucid dreaming is a skill that can be learned, practiced, and improved upon. Like I said, once I figured that out, I was like, oh, off to the races, man. I want to learn all I can about this practice. She points out another thing that I really like to say about the practice as well, where, through dream work practice, it's really your only opportunity to have a direct dialogue and interaction with and build a relationship with your subconscious mind, which comes over to one of her favorite things to do in her lucid dreams, and that is to talk and interact with dream characters, which, kind of gets at something that I like to bring up a lot, where you'll see in these lucid dream and don'ts lists where they'll be like, oh, never tell a dream character that they're in a dream or they're not real. Where, I don't tell mine that they're not real, but I tell them, hey, we're dreaming, you're in it, you're in my dream. I tell them that all the time. It's one of my standard things to do in my lucid dreams. And I'm like, hey, cool, we're dreaming, let's go jump off this building and fly away. Or I like free falling, so really I'll just jump off the building and then land at the bottom and then like teleport back up to the top, do it again, walk through walls. Hey, go take me somewhere interesting. Stuff like that is one of my favorite things to do in dreams. She points out how at her website, thedreamworldpodcast.com, she has the ultimate list of things to do while lucid, which is super cool. And then one thing that's kind of different about her chapter as opposed to a lot of the other chapters is she goes over all the standard techniques, where a lot of these techniques, they might be brought up in some form in other people's chapters, but hers is like broken out with like reality checks, audio cues. She has a really great point here with audio cues, where when you're doing that, you can basically make a recording that you're gonna listen to or hear as you're sleeping. When it's your own voice making the recording, it heightens the chances of that kind of breaking through to your ears, because you will still be able to pick up external stimuli, right, while you're sleeping. So when that voice comes in, it heightens the chances of you actually being able to hear it, realize it, listen to it, and get lucid from that moment on. Then she talks about the wake back to bed technique, which I'm sure everybody watching my channel knows about already, right? The mild technique, the wild technique. She brings up one of my favorite things, hypnagogic hallucinations or hypnagogia, which is super cool. She goes over something called LTD, which is lucid dream therapy, which is essentially like a treatment for chronic nightmares. And, talks about dream research and things like that. But and with that, I think we'll pretty much wrap it up there. But yeah, she's super awesome. Check her out, Dream World Podcast on Instagram and YouTube, and listen to her show. And yeah, that's it.